James Holmes is a 53-year-old retired paramedic and firefighter living in northwestern Arkansas in a quiet rural community. Mr. Holmes enjoys canning fruit, taking care of his exotic cat Ringo, and taking long walks with his fiancée. On February 10, 2010, Mr. Holmes discovered that Ringo, his prized cat, had been beaten to death. Mr. Holmes was hurt and traumatized by the event. He was desperate for answers. He contacted the Sebastian County Sheriff's Office to report the incident and request an investigation. But instead of receiving an investigation into the death of his animal, Mr. Holmes became the target of a series of criminal complaints launched by the police in retaliation for his demands to have the death of his animal looked into. PoliceAbuse.com has been investigating his story. Can you go to jail for demanding an investigation into the death of your animal? We'll answer that question in an upcoming special report.
This is William Albright. I am a private investigator. We are here in Fort Smith, Arkansas, investigating the case of James Holmes. As you can see, he lives in a very picturesque and scenic area just south of Fort Smith. We will go and approach his home here in a second, but this is the overall environment. Very picturesque and scenic.
Take it easy.
We are at 16809 Bear Creek Heights.
Bear Hollow Heights.
Bear Hollow Heights. And this is Mr. James Holmes. He, as I was saying, lives in a very picturesque area just south of Fort Smith, Arkansas. There we have Max. Max is the brother to the victim, the exotic cat that was killed. As you can see, Max looks very much like a domesticated tabby, but he is actually an exotic Bengal. James, can you describe his variety exactly?
Well, it's a Bengal cat. They're derived from a Asian leopard, actually. I have a book on them, and I have gone through the book, but I don't know as much as I should, I guess, about them. They're very different animals. They're high energy. They've just got more energy than your regular typical house cat. And they're far more athletic. They have an extra fold of skin down here, which makes them run very fast. They can get up to 25 pounds, and they can run up to 30 miles an hour. And pretty much outrun any dog. They call him the cat that thinks they're a dog. He meows like a cat, but every once in a while he barks like a dog.
My name is William Albright. I'm a private investigator. I'm in the residence of Mr. James Holmes. Mr. Holmes, I would like you to tell your own story to anybody that cares to look at this video. But I would like for you to start 15 years ago. What happened 15 years ago when you were assaulted in this very house?
Well, 15 years ago, I was home with, basically, I had the flu. I was asleep in this chair that you're sitting in, recliner. TV was going about midnight. And a fellow come busting in the front door, unlocked. My door was unlocked. I never had the need to lock my door much out here anyway, with all the neighbors right here. Everybody keeps an eye on everybody's place. Although they were all in bed this particular night. He come in and walked over and just hit me so hard it knocked me completely out of the chair. Then he picked me up and we scuffled all around the room here several times. He just overpowered me. He was much younger, much heavier, taller. He was no match. I was no match for him.
You were practically killed in that.
I was nearly killed. Yes. My head was caved in very bad. I was drug outside after I was submissive. I was drug outside and stomped on out there, and then he got in his vehicle and attempted to run over me, and I made it just up on the porch just in time, and that's when he backed out and left. I come in, called 911. When all the emergency vehicles got here, they found me unconscious here in the living room floor, and they come in, the paramedics come in and worked with me, and they got me aroused, and so I could tell them what happened. At that point, a small town police officer south of here pulled this fellow over, and he was covered with blood, and the small town police officer panicked. You know, he started getting on the radio and calling, and the sheriff deputies, I still remember, they were right here in the living room when the call went out, and they told him to hold the guy, place him under arrest. They think that he's a suspect here in this, you know, because I described the truck and he was driving a similar vehicle.
Now, as a result of the assault, you lost a career, you lost your finances, and what happened to the man that assaulted you?
He spent one night in jail.
Got probation on the deal.
Got probation. I was in and out of the hospital for 6 months, and I have had problems ever since, and medical problems. It was just a nightmare. You know, I lost my career. I was a licensed paramedic, and the state wouldn't renew my license due to my injuries, and so I had to go on disability. Filed bankruptcy. I had $60,000 worth of medical bills. It was just a nightmare.
Let me interrupt and fast forward basically to the incident at hand. February 10th of 2010, this year, about 2 months ago, you had an exotic cat. Tell briefly as you can what led up to this incident with the Sebastian County Sheriff's Office. Your cat was killed, beaten to death, and what led up to that?
I had a small cat show up on my back porch and its throat was ripped open.
Not your cat, it was
Not
just
my
a stray
cat. It was a stray cat. I'd never seen it before.
You called animal control.
I called Sebastian County Sheriff Animal Control. They initially denied my request. They said they just don't do cats, and I begged them to please. I insisted
do their job
as a taxpayer that they come and help this animal and get it to the humane